What I'm going to do on this tape is to work a couple of linear equations just to review the process, and then we'll look at some stated problems, word problems. All right, let's look at the first example. A linear equation is where we have an equal sign and we have first powers for the x's, for the unknowns. All right, the rule here is to move things across the equal sign by the opposite operation process. Okay. And then there's another sentence. You want to get all the x's on one side and all the numbers on the other side. Now in the notes you will notice the 4 steps there. Okay. So we'll look at those as we work through the problems. All right. So what we want to do is to get the x's on that side. Well, this is addition, so we'll do the opposite operation. So it's over here, it's added, so to get rid of it we need to subtract it from both sides. This is subtraction, so we'll add it to both sides. And now we add. This adds up to 2x. Excuse me. This drops out. This is, and this adds up to 0. Now, we move things across by the opposite operation. This is multiplied, therefore we divide both sides. And we get x equals 5. Alright, so what I'm saying, just review the work, is to get all the x's on one side, numbers on the other side, and we move things across the equal sign by doing the opposite operation. The opposite operation. All right, let's look at the next example. Next example is, all right, we're going to get all the x's on one side. So therefore, we're going to subtract the 4x from both sides. And adding here we get 10, and adding here we get a minus x. Now then, solving for x, this is a minus 1, so we divide by minus 1, and we get x is equal to a minus 10. All right, let me do one other one. Say we had 2x over 3 is equal to 18. Now, to move things across, how's the 3 connected? It's divided, therefore we multiply. So that divides out. We're given 2x. Then this is multiplied, therefore we divide. So to move things across the equal sign, learn to do the opposite operation. Okay, now let's go to word problems. So the first one says, if 9 is subtracted from 2 times a number, the result is 19. Let's read it again. If 9 is subtracted from 2 times a number, the result is 19. Now what you need to do is to read the problem several times until you get a mental picture of what it's saying. Don't just try to start writing down letters and numbers. Read it until you understand what it's saying. So it says that 9 is subtracted from twice the number. And it is, the result is, and that's the equal sign, 19. So even though the 9 is at the beginning of the words, doesn't mean it's the beginning of the equation. So you need to read through the equation several times if necessary until you kind of picture what's happening on here. And what's happening is we're going to subtract 9 from twice the number, and that's going to be equal to 19. Okay, so don't try to do stated problems totally by just trying to remember the example that you saw in class or in the textbook. Read the problem and read the problem until you kind of feel what it's saying to do. All right, now let's finish the problem. We want to solve for the number x, so we're going to move things across by opposite operation. This is subtracted, so we're going to add it. So this will add up, and this will be, now the 2 is connected by multiplication, therefore we divide, and we get x is equal to 14. And then we check it. Don't forget to check your answers. All right? So the equation was 2 times x, well that's 14, minus 9. And that's 28. And sure enough, that checks. So we did the problem right. All right, let's look at example 2. Example 2 says the sum of a number and 11 is multiplied by 3 is 54. Do what? The sum of a number and 11 multiplied by 3 is 54. Now, again, this is why I'm saying read it and read it, because it could sound like this. The sum of a number and 11 multiplied by 3 is. Okay. And this is one thing that's bad about math books. They should write longer sentences. They don't make it very clear. They kind of assume that you think the way they're thinking when they write it down. But with that comma in there, it says the sum of a number and 11 is multiplied by 3, and that is equal to 54. That's what they want you to do and work in the problem. The problem isn't that clear without already having some experience. So again, you need to read it and read it until you have a better understanding of what it's saying. All right, then we finish the problem. Well, what's the rule? Remove parentheses. So that would be 3x plus 33 is equal to 54. Moving the 33 across by doing the opposite operation. And then the 3 is multiplied, therefore to move it, we divide. And so we get the number 7. Check it is the number summed with 11 times 3 equals to 54. And that answer is yes. All right, let's go to number 3. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 84. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 84. Well, we've got to talk about consecutive integers. So what we'll do is we'll say the first one is x. And if the consecutive integers, that means like 17, 18, 19, 20, and so on. So they're increasing by 1. So if I let this be my first number, my second number is 1 more. And my next number is 1 more than that. So if I add 1 more to that, then I get the x plus 2. Now what will happen? Listen closely. What can happen on your homework problems? It might say consecutive even integers. Now if you do that, then the first one would be x plus 2 would be your next number, and x plus 4 would be your next number. If they said consecutive odd integers, the same thing. X is the first one, x plus 2 is the next one, and x plus 4 is the next one. Because consecutive odd would be like 5, 7, 9. So you're adding 2 each time. Right? So consecutive integers is 1, 2, and so on. consecutive, odd, or even is by 2's here. All right, so you just got to know that. So anytime you run across problems that have consecutive integers or even odd consecutive integers, that's the way you're going to set it up. All right, now you go back and read the problem. It says the sum of 3 consecutive integers is 84. Remove parentheses. Okay, what do we do here? The rule is combine like terms. So if we add the x's, we have 3 of them. If we add the numbers, we have 3. Move the 3 across, the opposite operation. Multiply to move it across, we divide. So x is 27. Now listen, don't stop stated problems when you just get x. Answer the question. The question is find the 3 consecutive integers. So the final answer then should be 27, 28, and 29. And then go check it. Add those up. Okay? Well, 7 and 8 is 15. Line's 24. Carry my 2, 4, 6, 8. So it checks. Okay, so we did it all right. All right, so the key on this problem is to learn the concept of consecutive, how you write those out. All right, now let's go to number 4. And here we're going to read and read and read. In a close election, candidate A receives 15 more votes than candidate B. If 375 total votes were cast, how many votes did each candidate receive? Wow. Yeah, let's go read that again. In a close election, candidate A received 15 more votes than candidate B. If 375 total votes were cast, how many votes did each candidate receive? Well, let's see. Let's read one more time. Candidate A received 15 more than B. Okay? So we'll let the smaller number of votes be X, and then X plus 15 would be what A gets. Now you could do it the other way. Okay? You could let X be one of them and X minus 15 be the other. Just read it until you make up your decision what you're going to let the X be, whether you're going to let it be X stand for A or B, and then just read it what the other one is. Okay? So if one is 15 more than the other one, then X and X plus 15. All right, now let's go back and read, after we decide where our X's are going to go, let's go back and read the second sentence. If the total votes were cast, total, what does that mean? Well, it means add them up. So the total is 375. In other words, read the problem. When the word total, what does total mean? It means add things together. Okay. All right. So combining like terms. Moving things across the equal sign by opposite operation. And connected by multiplication, therefore we divide. So we get 180 for an answer. But that's not the final answer. How many votes did B get? Okay, well that's the 180. So how many votes did A get? Well, you add 15 to that. Now check your answer, add those two together, and sure enough, it's correct. Okay, let's look at some more examples. All right, example 5 now is a solution problem, okay? Now one way of doing this, and one way people explain it, is the table up here, and the way I explain it is this sentence, okay? So we'll look at both of those, but let's read the problem. A 5% salt solution is mixed with a 15% salt solution in order to obtain 5 liters of a 9% solution. how many liters of each are needed? Man, that's, whew, wow. A 5% salt solution is mixed with a 15% salt solution in order to obtain 5 liters of a 9% solution. So the table is percents. We have a 5%, okay, and we have a 15%, and we want a 9% final. All right. Now the question is how many liters? So that means this is going to be unknown. And we're going to have a total of 5 liters. So now think, this is where you read and read. If we're going to have a total of 5, and say x is 2, then this would be what? Well, you'd subtract it. So in other words, 5 minus this amount is going to be what the other solution is. So there's your process, your letters set up. Now, I personally like to work it this way. All solution problems can be simply the amount of one of the solutions that we're going to put in there times its percent is equal to the total times its percent. Okay. Well, if this is 5 and this is x, then what is this one? Well, it's the total minus that one. Okay. So you can just work it. It's where you have 2 or 3 or more solutions. It's going to be the unknown x times its percent plus the unknown subtracted from the total times its percent is going to equal to the total times its percent. And then you write your equation. All right. Well, the amount of the 5% plus the amount of the 15% is equal to the total of its percent. Now remembering now, percentage, you move the decimal place 2 places. So 15% moved over, okay, 5% moved over, and 9% moved the decimal place 2 places to the left. All right, then you just multiply these out, okay? So this is 0.05x plus this times that, okay, would be what? Okay, it would be 0.75 minus 0.15x is equal to 0.45. All right. Now, to me, an easy way of working these, so that you don't have to use decimals, when they're going to give you these percentages, just multiply everything by 100. In other words, just move this back. Two decimal places. And now we're dealing with minus 10x, and moving this across will be a minus 30. Dividing both sides by minus 10, we end up with x being 3. Okay, 3 what? Don't forget, stated problem, it's 3 liters. All right. So what our solution then is, x is for the 5%, so we have 3 liters at 5%, and we have 2 liters then at 15%. Okay. So amount times percent plus total minus amount times percent equals total times percent. And that'll work on solution problems. Also, a problem like this, if you're working in a, let's say in a store, and you're selling, let's just say candies, and certain candy is at 79 cents, and another candy is $1.25. Okay, how do you mix those to come up with 10 pounds, and now what do you charge for it? Well, it still works out. Total minus X, and then you would put in your prices, 79 cents, $1.25, and so you want to sell the combined total at $1. Still works the same way. Okay, let's look at the sixth example. It says Andrew invested $6,000, part at 5, part at 7. If the total income was how much? All right, let's read it one more time. Invested $6,000, so that's total. Okay, so the total is going to be $6,000, and then it says I want to sum at 5%. So that's going to be sum at 5% and sum at 7%. All right. If the total income, now was $340. Okay, now what they're talking about is the interest that you gain. Again, problems don't say clearly a lot of times exactly what they want. But it's interest. So interest is principal times rate times time. So we still have an amount, which is the amount of money that we're going to put down, percentage of interest rate, and then time is for PRT. And this is how much you earn. This is your interest income that you earned. Okay. The reason I'm saying that's going to be that $340. All right, so let's do the amount. So amount is X at 5% for 1 year, okay? Because it says annual. All right, then the total, which would be 6,000 minus that X, times its interest times 1 year. And that's going to be equal to our $340. In other words, this is already calculated over here. This is interest. This is interest. Okay? PRT. So that's interest plus interest is equal to $340. All right, then you go work it. So this would be X times 0.05 plus 6,000 minus X times 0.07 is equal to 340. All right, then multiplying by 100, we get 5X plus 7 times 6,000 minus X is equal to 34000. So solving this, we have 5X plus 42,000 minus 7X is equal to 34,000. So combining, we get a minus 2X, and moving this across, we get a minus 8,000. So dividing by minus 2, we get $4,000. Now, 6,000 total, so we're going to invest 4,000 at 5%, and therefore 2,000 at 7%. Okay, so this gives you some examples of solution problems, interest problems, where it's amount percent, amount total minus amount percent equals total percent. Now, in this case, that was already given, and so we don't have to come up over here and have a multiplication. All right, do the other examples in the set of notes, and maybe this will help you.